So we have three different forms for quadratic. Well, the general form, we have first general form. General form can tell us y-intercept easily. Okay, can tell us y-intercept easily. The second one is the turning point form. So which is y equals to a x minus h squared plus k. And that can tell us turning point at h comma k. The y-intercept is at 0 comma c in this form. Well, change the intercept from the C to a D. I don't want you to confused with the previous line. They are different numbers. Okay, change the C to D or anything else. Like I just want to distinguish between the letters. Well, anything is actually right, but I don't want you to confuse with the y-intercept and the actual x-intercept. So just let's use another letter like D and D changing there. Okay, so what is x-intercept form? The other name for x-intercept form is the factorized form. Okay, it's the factorized form. I have a question. Can all the quadratic can be factorized? No. Okay, so it's not all the quadratic can be turned into factorized form, like intercept form. But can all the quadratic can be completing square or not? Can all the quadratic be completing square? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. So this always exists. Like the turning point form always exists. But the factorized form, like I'm not 100% sure. Okay, it might exist, might not exist. So like depends on like the discriminant. If discriminant is less than 0, can't factorize. Therefore, there's no factorized form. Okay, well, general form always have general form. So if we look at our question, well, this is the notes if you forget what to do, and you can come back to do this, to read this and then get the idea. But let's jump to the question directly. Okay, let's jump to the question directly. What we have here is y equals x squared minus 8x plus 12. I can do completing square again. Okay, I can do complete square again. No problem with that. I can complete square. I can still factorize and I still get the graph. But if we see this question, what's wrong with my... What's the two factors I should have for that question? Minus 6 minus 2. So x minus 6, x minus 2. Okay, so that's the factor we should have. Okay, that's the factor we should have. Okay, so what we can see from this form, what I can tell immediately. X-intercept, y-intercept, or turning point, which I can tell immediately from this form. X-intercept. Okay, what are the x-intercept? 2, 0, and 6, 0. So if I can factorize that easily, I can easily get the x-intercept. So let's label 2, 0, and that. Okay, change that to a... Do I need to change it? I'll just make it like that. Okay, so 2, 0 is here. 6, 0 is here. Okay, so that's the 2x intercept. What's the y-intercept? Y-intercept is 0, 12, right? So 0, 12 is, well, it needs to go a little bit beyond the given graph. So that's approximately here. Okay, a little bit higher. That's 11. That's 10, 11, and 12 is here. So 0, 12. Okay, can you work out, well, if you already know this 3 point, can you work out the line of symmetry? What's the line of symmetry here? What's the line? Like where it should be? In between, in the middle of 2 and 6, right? In between 2 and 6. They are at the same level, so the middle must be the line of symmetry. So what we doing for this one, x will equals to 2 plus 6 divided by 2. We use the midpoint formula. 2 plus 6 divided by 2. So x equals to 4. Okay. X equals to 4. I just sketched this line. Okay, so my turning point must be on this line, right? Like my turning point must be somewhere along the line. Then I know my x value of the turning point must be 4. My turning point must be 4 comma something. Okay, my turning point must be 4 comma something. So therefore I can work out the y value. So when x equals to 4, my y value must be, well, I can use other form. I think it's easy to sub into the factorized form. So it's 4 minus 2 and 4 minus 6. Okay, 4 minus 2 and 4 minus 6. Okay, y equals to negative 4. So I know my turning point is 4, negative 4. Because x value of the turning point must be 4. Then I sub 4 into the original equation to find the y value, and that must be negative 4. So 4, negative 4 is here. So for yesterday's method, I find turning point, and then at the same time I can find x-intercept. One turning point form, and then directly turns into x-intercept form. But for today's question, I put into x-intercept form first, and then use the x-intercept to find the turning point. Okay, to find the turning point. So I find the middle is 4. When I sub 4 into the question, I got negative 4. So my graph will be, it's a bit hard to sketch this one. It's quite high there. Okay, so the graph will look like this. I have labeled the y-intercept, I have labeled the x-intercept, and I have labeled the turning point. You can do the next one by yourself, but I need to change that. I need to change that to a 20. I need to change that to a 40. And the bottom one, I change to a negative 20 and a negative 40. Okay, the scale is not very good. So you can do that by yourself. And I want to do D with you. Okay, I also do D with you. So first of all, we think about factorize. I see we have 5 everywhere. So I can take a negative 5 as the common factor. X squared minus 2x plus 1. What's the factorized form for this? Minus 1 squared. So that's minus 5. X minus 1 squared. Well, I can say it's x minus 1. Like I can write in this way. Or I can say that's minus 5. X minus 1 squared plus 0. This is a perfect square. Okay, there's no plus or minus any value. So it's a perfect square. Yeah, that's a perfect square. If that's a perfect square, turning point and x-intercept will be the same thing, right? My x-intercept is 1, 0. My turning point is 1, 0 as well. So I will have turning point and x-intercept at the same place. Okay, 1, 0, because there's no plus or minus any value, and it's exactly same factors. Okay, exactly same factors, x minus 1 and x minus 1. So we have x minus 1 squared. Also, we have y-intercept. Well, we can say turning point and x-intercept is 1, 0. They are the same. And then y-intercept is 0, -5. We use the original equation. We can see that's -5 easily. That's -5. Well, if we have -5 here, then we'll have 2 -5 as well, because line of symmetry is 1. Okay, line of symmetry is 1. Okay, so that will be my graph. That will be my graph. There's only one x-intercept. There's only one x-intercept. Okay, so this one is a little bit special. We see we can factorize that easily, but after factorize it, we have two identical factor. Okay, we have two identical factor. So we have turning point and x-intercept at the same point because it's a perfect square. Because it's a perfect square. Okay, I leave two questions for you to do, which is B and C. And let's have a look at the finding equation question. Okay, in the second page, I think second or third page, we have a question which asks us to find equation as well, give us the graph, and give us the turning point and also another point to ask us to find the equation for that curve. On this graph, what you have seen, like what point you can see, what are they? You have seen? X and y intercept. Okay, x and y intercept. So we have -1 and 3 is my x-intercept. Okay, according to -1 and 3, what you can write? The factor must be what? If I have x-intercept at -1, what's the factor must be? You want the equation to solve when y equals to 0. You want to solve out x equals to -1. What's the factor must be? X what? X plus 1. Good. If you want a solution 3, what the factor should be? X minus 3. Do you think the equation will be just like that, or I need something else? Okay, what do I need? A, good. Every time we solve for quadratic, we need that A. Okay, this A means dilation. So what dilation do I have? Well, I can have another quadratic like this. It's with the same x-intercept, but like it's different. It's different. So the A is a dilation. I need to work out A by myself. So then that's why I have this y-intercept here. When x equals to 0, y equals to -3. Okay, when x equals to 0, y equals to -3. So -3 equals to A1 and -3. So A equals to 1. Okay, -3, A equals to -3, A is 1. But even though it's 1, we still need this working to show that it's 1. If you directly write A equals to 1, there's no working mark for this question. Like you don't know you need an A. So we can answer y equals to x plus 1 and x minus 3 for this question. Okay, or you can expand it to make it into general form. You can, after expand, you can put into completely square form to find same thing as well. Okay, so we have finished 7A to 7D already. What I want you to do is complete those two questions first. I'll check everyone's working. Okay, so B and C, and then if you finish quickly, you can just go to work on your scheme of work. Yes?